didn't mention, but I thought it was monumental that this 2024, we hit $1 billion in assessed tax value.
1.3 billion.
Yeah, which is a milestone for, Normal Township. And Normal Township covers 99% of the town of Normal. There's a little area to the west that belongs to Dale Township. Anyway, I'm a trustee currently, running for another term of 4 years. We grew up, my wife and I grew up, small community, and you definitely knew the township highway commissioner, because he was the one that made sure that you could get through on the roads in the winter time, and a lot of times to clean your lane for you. But I went to Western Illinois after school, signed in for the Air Force. The day I was to ship out, I walked over to Selective Service, and they said, well, you'll go next month. And I said, just put me down, I'll go. Ended up in Europe. During the basic, I came home and got married to my high school sweetheart, which was 58 years ago. I ended up in Europe. She was 13. Ended up in Europe and had the opportunity. She joined me there. We had our first son, which was born in Stuttgart, Germany, where her great-grandmother was born. But she raised basically 2 sons. Both served in combat. One retired. He's on disability, but you wouldn't know it. The other one we lost 10 years ago. Just loving his kids. Got home from service and I put in for the Illinois State Police. 3 months after I got out of service, I was on the state police. Served 27.5 years there, all facets of law enforcement. I was in investigations, done internals, done externals, done you name it, type, supervised, helped create Task Force 6, if anybody's ever heard of it. Still in existence. Undercover, overcover, and as in many police organizations, they get to the point and said we have to coexist again with uniform and plain clothes, so I ended up as the commander of the uniform area, and as investigations covered 6 counties, and the uniform covered the same 6 counties. I loved it. It was a passion. I missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of anniversaries, but it was a passion back then. Too often today I see it, and too many, it's a job. You work, you go home. But then you didn't get a whole lot of money for it. I worked second job. Everybody worked a second job. We built houses. Everybody was either a contractor or plumber or electrician or whatever, but you done it. You were family. After the state police, there was an early retirement. In 1990, I had an early retirement, and I think I lost 8 troopers. And again, in fall session, they offered one in 93. We sat down mathematically and said, we could buy it out, retire. We're going to lose another 10 and won't get backfilled for at least 5 years. So we took it, retired. I had an open house the next day, and I've been a real estate agent for 32 years. Slowing down. I've been involved in a lot of different charities, on boards, helped create Day of the Dozier, which was for the Cancer Society. Great youthful experience, but many others. 4 years ago, the GOP was looking for somebody to run, and against my wishes of better half, said, why, might as well try it. It's been a good experience, a major learning experience. I'm not one to sit on my hands, and so I do research every time prior to the meetings. Whatever's coming up, I dig into it to see whether I agree, disagree, or it's something we need to change. The last 4 years have been challenging, I think. There's been challenges. We had a art director retire, so we had to hire a new director. The supervisor retired and went to Wisconsin, so we had to hire a supervisor. Our elected clerk moved out of the town, so we had to hire a new clerk. Since then, we've hired replacements for some, and so that's a process in itself to go through. A lot of policy change has been made throughout. We have a staff here, a paid staff, full-time staff of 5 people. At the township office, there's 2 part-time people that handle the expenditures for emergency relief and/or there's 2 types of relief people can apply for. A lot of it is back rent on apartments, utilities, some is groceries, medical, but the way it's set, the limits are set by state government, and the money actually goes to the landlord, if that's the case. It goes to the utility company, if that's the case. If it's groceries in need, it goes to Kroger store on Main Street, and they are notified that this person will be coming in and has a set amount. Nobody gets a credit card. Nobody gets cash in hand. It's all accounted for. The budget process. You have the clerk, which takes the minutes of every meeting, plus is the person in charge of the files, the responsibility. The supervisor is the overall CEO of the township. And they're involved, they oversee the ARC, the trustees, all 4 trustees and the supervisor are the only voting members of the organization. The assessor, the township commissioner set their own budget, but we control the purse. All expenditures come through us for approval. It has to be approved by the supervisor and the trustees. And that check register we look at every week, as well as the budgets we look at every week. Our fiscal is April, so the election will coincide. The first time these people will take office will be April, the 3rd Thursday in April. It's an interesting, there is a township officials of Illinois, TOI, that is a backstop for anybody running. They're an excellent organization. They supply tons of information, education, support for any township out there. Townships are one of the oldest established governments. They're the ones they say is closest to the people. And that goes back throughout history, the importance of the township, of helping people, the roads, what have you. So it's here. I think our assessment, your taxes, your property taxes, I think if you look at the chart, we are 1.4% of your property taxes. So it's low. Budget-wise, overall, I think the commissioner afraid to ask, he's got a new building, which was approved, I think, probably 6 years ago or 7, which was completed this last year. Beautiful facility, and approval now to sell the existing building, so that will go back into the budget. But things move. What I've seen and things that I look forward to, we've gotten a new roof on the building, the township building, gutters. We do need to replace windows. The ARC, a beautiful facility, which is now, I think, 9 years old, 8 years old. A couple things coming up is the solar panels that are on the roof. We have a 6-year agreement that we have to decide what we're going to do. We either assume it or continue with the ownership that is presently have it. We've had a number of leaks in the building, in the roof, that are still under warranty, and we argue every time to get those fixed again. but one of these days, we're gonna have to replace that roof. So those are budget items. We are comfortable. This year's budget is presently, the levy, our levy, I think went up a minuscule amount based upon increase in individual payments. We hired a new supervisor for art. Of course, things changed, times changed. A new maintenance director here at art, which we didn't have. And a lot of technology that we're looking at to upgrade and coordinate. We got too many systems operating that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So technology is another one aspect that we'll be looking at. The assistance that we give out, I think that's budgeted about $160,000 for the year, maybe $170,000. And that fluctuates. We look at that every month, and you can see different fluctuations in what's going on. A lot of times over this last few years, a lot of it's been rent payments. A lot of it's been, utility payments. The groceries and that fluctuates. We'll see good months, cold months, we'll see more activity. And all those are taken into account. The big thing you have to consider is who's watching out for your money. And I consider that your money, not mine. And we have people here running for office that are taxpayers. They are property owners. Unlike the other slate that you'll be presented with, not all of them are taxpayers or property owners. So you watch out where your pocket goes. Also, I wanted to make a couple comments because based on experience, our Carl running for clerk, he mentioned he will be committed to attending. Our current clerk was a trustee in the previous 4 years. Missed 25% of the meetings. She was hired, I was the only no vote, to fill the clerk position this term. She's missed 25% of the meetings. Now, I want to back that up. All the minutes are on the website, the township website. You can do the lookup yourself, go back through the years, look at the attendance of the meetings, and that's where it's at. To me, that's not a responsible person. Chad's running for supervisor. What's slated on the other side is a supervisor that may be out demonstrating or actively protesting against something else. I don't think we need that. You need somebody that's committed to the position, willing to work the position, be available, because the supervisor position is important. That's the CEO. We do have a director of operations here at the ARC, but everybody answers to the supervisor and answers to the trustees who pay the bills. It's a good organization, it works, but we need committed people that are willing to engage in the operation, to research what's going on, to believe in what's going on, and prepared to vote yay or nay. Don't be afraid to step forward and say, I don't agree with that. The ballot situation, I was hoping to have a copy of the ballot, and as of last night, it wasn't even available. This is a partisan race. You have the Republican and the Democrats running. There's two slates. The ballot position doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but by state law, there's a lottery created at the township by the clerk. This year, it was done by a pair of dice. It started with the first contested position, which was the township supervisor. Roll of 2 dice. We were fortunate enough that the Republican got top slot. So you'll see Chad's name first for township supervisor. Next, we rolled the dice for clerk, which Carl, again, ended up being the top person on the slate. Then the trustees were lumped as a group. Republican trustees, Democrat trustees. The dice roll, we're the first group on the ballot.
All right.
So it saves you time when you look at the ballot. You don't have to read through to find us.
Let's go to
We'll be
Vegas.
the top slots all the way through. We do ask for your vote. It is important. Township is often forgotten in what we do. And townships throughout Illinois range from a trustee and a highway commissioner, maybe a clerk, to a full set of employees. We're blessed to have the art. I think this is 9 years old, and I think Rich Farr was superintendent or supervisor at the time. They bought this, if you remember, from ISU. It's a facility, and the group we have as full-time employees, I tell you, it's endless as what activities they create, provide, adjust. If you need something, you have an idea, tell them, they'll see if they can work it in. That's a monumental task when you're dealing with a lot of us that are over 55 that have our own ideas. And as you well know, we speak up. But it's a great, great facility. Pickleball is huge. That's growing, that's fantastic. As Mary said, you got technology, you've got gardening, you've got, you name it, it's available to you. And also the surrounding townships can participate also. And I think Bloomington gives us a little bit of budget every year, just in reciprocal agreement for what we have here at the Ark. So it's a great institution. You don't realize what you have until you be part of it. I thank the people that are running. It's hard as hell to get people to run for anything these days, without a doubt. But please get out, tell your friends. We do have signs. If you'd like to put a sign in your yard, pick one up, whoever you want, makes no difference. The postcards we have copies of, take one of those. You can walk in your voting booth with it, turn it over, you can see everybody that's being from the Republican Party.